Juanita and Willie Nelson. Hold on. Dave, can you have somebody go downstairs and make sure that there's no noise down there? Just send one of the kids, grab for somebody quickly. Oh, why don't you guys come? You get on either side of me. Why don't you? Just one. Okay.
Miss Nelson, you can stay.
What?
I was telling her she was coming around.
Okay. Okay. You guys ready? Okay. We've called this press conference in order to announce the filing of a wrongful death lawsuit against Hackensack University Medical Center and the anesthesiologist who caused the death of Dr. Derek Nelson. As many of you know, Dr. Nelson was one of a kind. Many people talk about donating their time to charity and helping others. Dr. Nelson's entire existence was living this way. Besides being an incredible family man, son and father, he served in the Army because of love of his country. He then became a beloved principal at Westfield High School and had a very special relationship with the students and the faculty. But that wasn't enough for Dr. Nelson. He learned about a 14-year-old who was suffering from cancer in France. In a matter of weeks, decided he was going to donate bone marrow to help that child he had never met. Tragically, it was that final selfless act that took Dr. Nelson's life. In the lawsuit we filed today, we set forth how Hackensack University Medical Center and the anesthesiologist and other physicians were negligent during the bone marrow procedure. They were aware that Dr. Nelson was at a slightly higher risk with sleep apnea for undergoing anesthesia. Nevertheless, they were negligent in failing to properly monitor him. As soon as they put him under in the anesthesia, his oxygen saturation began to fall. It was at 91% at the beginning of the procedure, a red flag, and they didn't stop. Nor did they monitor his oxygen. It continued to plummet. It plummeted all the way down to 31%, which is barely enough for life. When they finally acted, they made additional errors. They placed a mask trying to give him oxygen, but they didn't give him enough oxygen. Dr. Nelson suffered severe brain damage, was in a comatose state, and died several weeks later. Dr. Nelson lived and died as a hero, and now his family has filed this lawsuit in an effort to seek justice. And one important thing here, because we've read a lot about people being scared to donate bone marrow, donate organs. This is not about being scared of donating bone marrow, donating organs. This has nothing to do with the type of procedure. This was clear and simple in anesthesia. Say it again, sorry. We've heard that people have had concerns about donating bone marrow, donating organs. That's not what at issue here. This is certainly about the procedure, but primarily about anesthesia and the anesthesia that they gave him and not reacting to his vital signs. There is nothing unsafe about donating bone marrow, donating organs. And that's not the message here. The message is make sure that when you're doing your job as a physician and you're giving anesthesia, you monitor your patient and you act accordingly. Thank you. We're going to open up to questions right now.
Have you gotten a response from the hospital at all?
Hospital has taken a no comment stance at this point.
What exactly are you asking for in this suit? What are you guys asking?
Justice.
Can you step up to the microphone, please?
We're asking for justice. I want to make sure that this doesn't happen to someone else that decides to undergo a procedure to donate. Like Mr. Mazie said, this is not about donation. Derek was an organ donor. He was a registered organ donor. He donated bone and tissue after his death. But this is justice for our daughter, who's 5, who does not have her father, who cries for her father. And as a mother, you want to be able to help your child, and that's something that I can't fix for her. It's justice for his parents who lost their only child, justice for countless family and friends who have lost just a great, great person. And for me, I'll never be Mrs. Nelson. We were supposed to be married June 29th, and that will never happen. My wedding gown is still at the bridal shop. His custom suit he had made for our wedding was in a box in our house, and nothing will ever bring him back. Nothing will ever bring him back, but we definitely want to make sure that this does not happen to anyone else.
Do you think that this could bring you maybe some closure aside from the justice?
Possibly, but it's really difficult to say that. I mean, we have a child that will never have her father.
Sheronda, how do you feel about, I know that when I saw you briefly at his memorial on Memorial Day, at that point, the bone marrow donation organization said that, kind of gave a very vague statement saying there's a risk with every procedure, period, end of story. How do you feel about their comments? Have they reached out to you further after this?
Are you speaking about Be the Match?
Yes.
I'm not sure I am.
They have reached out. They were at the hospital. They were very vigilant during the whole process. There is a risk in every procedure. I mean, whenever you undergo any procedure, it doesn't have to be donating bone marrow. It could be just a colonoscopy, anything. There is a risk. But the doctors are charged with making sure that that person that's undergoing that procedure comes out in good health. They're charged with that life and being responsible for that life. And I think this is about holding them accountable for things that they did not do.
What do you think this donation says about the kind of person he was?
Derek was just an amazing human being, an amazing human being. He was very generous, very loving, giving of himself. You meet him for the first time, and you leave the room feeling like you knew him. He was just that type of person that just wanted to make a difference. And we were really blessed to have him for the time we did, and we're really saddened that we won't have him any longer.
Mr. Mazie, from a legal standpoint, how do you feel about the strength of this suit, the strength of this case?
That's a very strong suit. I mean, we have, from the medical records, we have all the statistics, what was going on. And it's very clear that they should have stopped immediately. Once he got to 91%, it's below what you should be. His oxygen saturation was already sending out red flags, and they should have stopped the procedure immediately. There's no question.
From your research, medically, would he have been fine if they would have taken him off anesthesia, woken him up after that point when he was at 91%?
Oh, absolutely. There's not even a question. I mean, they had just started the procedure. It takes 6 minutes to have a hypoxic brain injury. They had plenty of time to do what they wanted to do to take him out, and it would have taken them a minute or 2 minutes to get him out. It wouldn't have been a problem. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have copies of the lawsuit. Anybody needs it?
Just quickly, from a legal standpoint, what are you guys seeking?
In New Jersey, all we can seek is damages. Hopefully, we'll have this lawsuit will have the effect of others giving pause and not taking anesthesia lightly. And I'm not talking about patients. I'm talking about anesthesiologists. And I don't know what went on in that operating room. I don't know why they didn't monitor him. I don't know if they were paying attention. I don't know what the story was. We're going to find out in this lawsuit. But this can never, ever happen again. This wasn't general anesthesia. It was something called MAC, monitored anesthesia care. It's a little bit more than you get for a colonoscopy, and it never, ever should happen in this type of situation. And they just didn't act. And he ended up having a lack of oxygen. His brain became oxygen starved, and they never moved on it. So what we're seeking here is damages.
Do you expect this to be a long case?
Don't know.
Have you named the anesthesiologist?
We have.
Do you know anything about his history?
I don't know anything about his history other than he's a licensed anesthesiologist that works out of Hackensack University
No
Medical
idea how
Center.
long or anything like that?
I don't remember. I know he's a DO, not an MD, for what that's worth, which means he's an osteopath. Thanks, guys. Copies of the lawsuit are here. Anybody wants them? If you need an electronic copy, send me an email and we can send it to you.